right, let's go ahead and get started. I feel super shiny for some reason. Not sure why. Let's see if we can knock that out. Same old with my under eyes to start with. The Clinique Airbrush Concealer. And this is in the shade number 7, Light Honey. I don't always say that, and I feel like the last time I used it, I got a lot of questions on what color it was. So I apologize. It is Light Honey. It's always Light Honey. I haven't used another shade in this particular product. And then I've been using the BK Beauty 113 to kind of pat that in. Let's go on to the foundation. So this is legitimately the first time I have used this foundation. I'm gonna give it a good test today. This is something that claims that it is waterproof. I am actually doing a leg workout today, and if I am ever gonna sweat profusely during a workout, it will be a leg workout. So I will definitely test that out, or that claim out during my workout. But this is the newer Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. I'll put a picture of the actual bottle because this is just a little kind of gift with purchase from my last Sephora order. And when they do these, they don't necessarily give you that many options on colors. Typically it's about 4 choices. And this is, I believe this is 2 in. I need to try to find the paper it came in, but I'm almost positive it's 2 in. Now, I was in store a couple weeks ago with my girls, and I was looking at this foundation because I had had it on my wish list for a while since it launched. And I had put in a completely wrong shade to my wish list. It was way darker than I would have needed. So I'm glad I saw it in store. However, I don't remember what color I decided would actually work best for me. So I'll have to go back in store. This one looks a little light in the little bottle, but I think it's going to end up working. So this is light with neutral undertones. It's the shade Cashew. This comes in 30 shades. It retails for $48 for the typical 1 ounce. Now, when I was looking at the information on this foundation, I noticed a couple of things that stood out. It is silicone free. So they specifically say on the detail page that they recommend using a primer that does not contain silicones if you're using a primer with this foundation. It is supposed to be makeup that looks like skin with a medium buildable coverage. It does claim to be waterproof and fade proof for 12 hours of wear. It also was a little bit different in the how to use section. I always like to see how a company suggests using their product. And this one specifically said to apply it, pump it out on the hand, take your brush, put it into the product on your hand, and then apply it to the face. It didn't say or use with your fingers or use with a sponge, at least on the Sephora product page, which I thought was interesting because I feel like typically companies will just be like, use it however you want to. But this was very specific, so that's how we're going to do it. Now, this is not a pump, it's like a little paddle, so I can't really determine how much I'm putting on my hand. But I'm going to start with that much and do as they say. This is the IT Cosmetics number 7 brush, and I'm just going to apply the foundation on the brush and then go into stipple it on the skin. So I did kind of cheat, which I don't normally do, and read like 4 or 5 different reviews, just the ones that were on like the first page. It seems that this tends to work better for people without like extremely dry skin, which because of the longevity claims kind of makes sense to me that it would maybe be marketed more towards combo oily skin. I didn't look and see if it says. It does say it's hydrating, and a lot of times it says great for and gives a type of skin type, but this one doesn't. So we'll see. Color is actually good. That's really pretty. That is really pretty. All right, I'm going to buck the system a little bit and go against their rules and try it on this side of my face, how I would usually apply a foundation, and see if it really makes a difference. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. I do, if I'm really looking up close, feel like I got a little bit more coverage on this side, but I think it's because I actually use more product, picking it up from my hand versus dotting it on. So we'll test the buildable claim of this by putting just a little bit more where I can still see some redness and building it up. It is very skin-like, I feel like. I'm pretty much as glowy as I was when I first came on. Don't really know. It may be a little hard to determine since I already had a bit of shine on my face from my skincare. Might be hard to determine whether the glow was emphasized and is coming from the foundation or not, but I don't think it really added that much. And it's very pretty. So far, so good. Now, I will be updating in the description box how this wore, since this is the first time I'm wearing it. But upon first application, I think it looks really good laying on the skin. Now, for concealer, I don't have a new concealer, but I am pulling out one that I haven't used in a while because someone made a comment on a video where I was talking about concealers I love, about how much they love this one. And I'm like, I think I have that. And I do. It's the Wet n Wild Mega Last Incognito. And I'm hoping this is not overly dark for the tone of the foundation and that I didn't just mess everything up, but we shall see. And so I did pull it out after I saw that, and I do like it. For a drugstore concealer, I think it's really nice. It is, you know, not my favorite concealer of all time. It doesn't knock any out of like my top 5 by any means, but if we're talking like legit drugstore, very affordable concealers, this is definitely high on my list for those options. I'm hoping to make it work because it is a little bit darker than the foundation, but I really do not like bright concealers. In fact, I wore one yesterday that was a little too bright and I ended up having to take it off. I just look in the mirror when I have like highlighted under eyes and I don't feel like myself. There's nothing about it that makes me feel like me. So I just can't do it. So I'd rather go a little bit darker and hope that it works out than the opposite. I have a couple of new blushes and I'm not quite sure which one to use yet, but after I posted my, I think, playing with new K-Beauty makeup video where I absolutely raved about the Unleashia compact foundation, which is still such a favorite of mine. I love it so much. Unleashia reached out to me and asked if they could send me some products from the rest of their makeup range. And of course I said yes. I am using their brow pencil today, and I really, really, really like this. This is the Shaper Defining Eyebrow Pencil, and I'm in the shade number 1, Oatmeal Brown. The only thing I don't like about this is that it is so incredibly fine. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell how skinny that pencil is, which is great for getting very detailed application of brows, which I need because I have to paint half of mine on every day. But because it's so skinny, it does have a tendency to break easier. So I feel like I have kind of wasted some of it. I'm still trying to figure out how much to roll up at once to where that won't happen. I didn't break any today, thankfully. Another thing I really like about it, which might seem silly, but it's a big deal to me, is that both of these are the exact same size. So it doesn't matter which one I pick up to put back on the pencil, it's gonna work. Where other ones, I will always inevitably put the shorter one on the top and I'll mess up the eyebrow pencil itself. It's the small things, y'all. They also sent me a blush, and this is in the shade Apricot Sherbet. Looks like this. It's a powder blush. It's really pretty. It's swatches way lighter than it applies on the skin because you almost cannot see it in the swatch, but you actually can see it when it's on the cheeks. It is, however, still light. Now, I haven't seen any of the other blushes in person, so I can't speak to, you know, their tones. But again, that one does show up. It's just a very kind of muted apricot tone. I also purchased the Youthforia foundation, which I think I'm going to do a whole separate review on, from Credo. And they had a gift with purchase special where they sent you the Youthforia blush. Now, this is a blush that I have never used anything like the likes of. It looks like a lip gloss. It's in a lip gloss tube. It has a doe foot like a lip gloss, and it goes on clear, but it's supposed to take on the chemistry of your skin, kind of like lip products that we've seen in the past, and create the perfect pink flush. Y'all, I think we're gonna try it. It may end up being a hot mess, but we're gonna try it. So it has a little bit, I mean, it's a green tube, has a tad bit of a green tint to it, kind of like, wasn't there a Lipstick Queen lipstick one time that was kind of green, or was that blue that turned like the special pink? Anyways, I digress. You're supposed to take 2 drops on your cheeks. Oh, it's like automatically pink. Oh, it didn't do this on my hand. Okay, and then blend it out. So when I tried it on my hand, it took a hot minute to get pink. It applied almost pink on my cheek. Let's see if it gets darker. That is so weird. It applied clear on my hand. Okay, I can see a little bit of a pink flush coming. We shall see how that develops. I'm not putting another dot on. I don't want to totally go off the deep end. And it said specifically on the directions 2 dots. So again, let's see how that works out. I'm not going to use a new powder because I don't want to sway how I feel about this foundation. I want to use a powder that I know I already love. And so I'm going to use the Fit Glow Beauty Bamboo powder, which is this, and the Sigma powder have been pretty much the only powders I've been using lately. This is such a beautiful silica-based powder. Definitely takes the shine down, but it still holds like a more skin-like finish with just a little bit less luminosity. For bronzer, I'm going to use my Sigma matte bronzer in the shade medium. Again, if you look back at my videos, I feel like I've used this for the past like week and a half straight. And I'm using my Refer number 22 brush, which it is brush cleaning day. So I am basking in my brushes working like I want them to for the last time for a couple of days before I wash them. But this is just a really nice bronzer. I love the tone. Nothing bad to say about it. And for highlight, I talked about this in my favorites video, but I don't think I have used it on camera. And this is the Beautycounter Cheeky Clean Highlighting Balm in the shade Astro. And I love this stuff. I have been using it a lot lately. Ring and middle finger in, and then just tap it onto the upper cheek. And gives such a pretty highlighting sheen without being too much. I did not do my buffing step before then, so I'm gonna do that and just go right underneath the highlighter because I don't want it to cling to any of that cream. It'll mess everything up. It's just kind of on the bottom part of my face real quick. And then I'm gonna assess the blush after the eyes and everything are done to see if I need more. So let's move on to the eyes. I feel like the eyes are what I have the most new products for. I have 6 new eyeshadow palettes. I bought 1, the rest were sent to me. I'm just gonna show you all the ones that I'm not gonna use. A couple that were sent to me from Unleashia. This is the Glitterpedia eye palette, and this is just shade number 2, all of brown. A real pretty neutral palette with some intense glitter shades. Now, I've not used all of these shades, but I have used these 2 more like sheen shades down here, and I do like them. I do feel like this one shows up a little bit on the eyes better than the one I used in my K-Beauty video. However, they're still light and very natural looking, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes I want that look. And then this one is the, I don't know what this is called. The shade is Nude Shower, but it's like their 5-pan palette. So it's similar to the one I just showed, but it just has 5 shades, and it is more in the simple nude neutral layout. This one is the brand new Beautycounter one that just launched, I think, last week. This is the Essentials eye palette. I had this on in my new skincare video. I really like it, especially if you're someone who likes gray shadows, because it does have a really pretty gray sheen shade in it, which I don't find in a ton of palettes, and if I do, it doesn't have this pretty sheen to it. You know, it's a 5-pan palette. You're not going to get a ton of looks out of it. I do like the shade story, and these are talc free. All Beautycounter powder products are talc free. This one is from Alter Ego, and this one wins for the prettiest packaging by far. This is their Sakura palette, and look at the beautiful packaging, y'all. The cherry blossoms, that green, that pink, so pretty. And this is the palette. Now, Alter Ego makes palettes that are based on other palettes that have launched. I can't think of what this one is based on, probably because I don't have it, but it's very pretty. I love the greens. If y'all want me to do like a green eye look, let me know, because I will definitely do that using this palette. Very pretty pinks. I mean, this, I don't know that I have a palette in my collection where the colors inside match the outside packaging so well, because this is definitely a green and pink based palette. Very pretty, and I've talked about Alter Ego in the past. I really enjoy their formulas. And then this one, I say I bought it. I used my points for it. But this is the MAC Connect and Color eyeshadow palette. And I've talked about their Unfiltered Nudes that I love so much. This one is one of the 6-pan palettes, and it is the shade Embedded in Burgundy, which I had mentioned in one of my videos that this was next on my list to get because I just really like the burgundy shades in here. Naked, Lunch, Ho, and I think that's it. Those are like the original shades that have been in the MAC collection for years, and then you have 4 other shades to work with. I've used this once, I think, because I have so many new ones to go through, and I liked it. And then finally, Urban Decay sent over their new Metal Mania Naked palette. This is the one I have used the most out of all the ones that I've talked about. Like most Naked palettes, I like the formula. I have nothing bad to say about the formula. I like and will use 60 to 70% of the shades in them. They all tend, except for the original Naked, they all tend to have shades that I just probably will never reach for. And in this case, it is the Spike Stud, this like intense silver shade, possibly Power Chords, which is this purple. Now that would be really pretty on the lower lash line. And I'm not saying I'm never going to use it. And then this Decadent, because I just don't know how well my eyes would do with like a yellow on it. But these shades right here, like the neutrals and the ones on the outer corner, I really like. I'm going to use this palette today, and then one kind of like topper product. Another thing, while I do love these neutral shades, I mean, I have them like 18 times over. And honestly, that could be said for any of these palettes, except for the Sakura. I don't have a ton of green shades, but I feel like once you get to a state that most of us are in our collection with makeup, it's like there's not really new things, especially when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, that maybe we don't already have. But I'm going to go in with Sound Tower, which is the second matte shade right here, and use that in the crease. This is a Refer 15 brush. And then I'm going to go in with probably my favorite shade in the palette. Well, it's tied. My 2 favorite shades are Shred, which is like a pinky, yeah, it's like a rose goldy kind of shade. And then Headbang, which is, to me, the perfect bronze shade. And I will say, it is not that easy for me to find my perfect bronze, despite bronze shades being in so many palettes. This is really perfect. I'm going to take the brush that is included. I'm going to start with the brush, and then I'm going to take my finger, pick up the product to get even more saturation of the shade, and just kind of pat that in. So again, a really pretty bronze shade. And then take a little bit more of that crease shade on the bottom of my eyes. And then I'm going to do one more step to kind of give a little bit of life to the eyelids. And that is go in with another product that Unleashia sent me. To be quite honest, this is one thing that I thought I wouldn't like as much, but I actually do. And it is the Pretty Easy Glitter Stick. Again, K-Beauty really likes their glitter. You're gonna find a lot of glitter products in their eyeshadow and eye ranges. This is in the shade number 3, Brave, which is like a very peachy shade. And it just looks like a normal eyeshadow stick. And I like to take this on top of other eye looks and kind of just go in the middle for just a little bit more of a pop. I'll swatch it on my hand so you can see what it looks like there too. See how it just gives a little bit of a pop. And if you are someone who doesn't like to use glitter because of how messy it can be, this is a great way to use it because it is encased in a stick form. It's not gonna have fallout. It is really pretty. Hopefully you can see that. See, it's not like chunky glitter in it, but it's, again, not something that you're gonna have a ton of fallout with. It's very pretty if you like super natural looks and you just want to give a wash of something on the eyelids. It's a good way to do that. And they do have multiple colors. I'm gonna use a new mascara today, and it's not new to the market, but it's new to me. And it's the Dior Show mascara. I got this during the Nordstrom anniversary sale. In fact, this was the only beauty set that I got was the Dior set with the lip balm and this, and then a cute little bag. And I think it may have even had like a tiny Dior primer in it. I'm gonna use my Jane Iredale primer though, because that's what I'm used to using. And I have only used this once, so I'm not quite sure what I think about it. I wasn't blown away the first time I used it. Sometimes mascaras have to just kind of marinate a little bit and dry out some, but I don't find that this is a very wet formula. It's a very large brush, which I'm fine with, but I almost felt like it had some issues of the product coming off the brush and fully coating my lashes. But again, I've used it once, so we shall see after 2 coats how this looks compared to some of my favorites. So it's not bad, all right? I should have used a liner because I knew how large that brush was, and it did smudge some on my lash line, enough for me to worry about going in and fixing. Again, it's not bad. I do feel like I have to work at it a little bit more to build it up on my lashes. Me, it's more of a, if I'm not gonna wear as much makeup one day, type of a mascara, because it just doesn't give as much va-va-voom to my lashes as some of my favorites. So I don't dislike it, but I also don't know that it's necessarily worth the money being Dior when I have some that are cheaper that I like more. Now for lips, I am gonna use another shade of the brand new Jane Iredale Color Luxe lipsticks, which are now available on Harbin House. Always have a coupon code with Harbin House, so you're gonna be able to get 20% off of these shades. Beautiful, beautiful shades. This is the kind of shade card that came with them. I mean, you know, this side is right up Mandy's alley, but really anybody's gonna be able to find something they like. I'm gonna use the shade Bellini, which is a nude shade right here, but it has a little bit more of kind of a peachy tone to it. These are lipsticks, skinnier than their older lipsticks, more streamlined, still a more nude color, but it does definitely have a warmer undertone to it. And then because I always top things with a gloss, I'm gonna top it with this new Juicy Glass Lip Oil from Kaja. They sent over a set of 4 of these. This is in the shade number 1, Rose Hip Spritz. So it looks kind of rosy, but then when you swatch it, it's really just a gloss, and it doesn't produce much of a color at all, at least this one. So just to give a little bit of a sheen, I'm gonna add that. I do love a lip oil. I love how it feels on the lips. So that is it. That is playing with new makeup, some new products that I have been testing out lately. Again, for the products that I have not tried yet, like the foundation specifically, I will put how it wore down in the description box. I can see a little bit of the blush, but it's not really showing up like I thought it would, so I might end up going back with something else before I leave the house today. But the foundation is really what I will update y'all the most on. I will have everything listed and linked down in the description box below. If there's any new makeup that I haven't talked about lately that I need to try, let me know that in the comment section. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.